Welcome to the Boundless Bonds podcast. I'm Tanya Hunter, and today I am sitting with my friend and producer, Marnie Joseph. We're going to be talking about how the work I teach in Boundless Bonds around the law of assumption differs from the law of attraction. We'll also talk about practical ways to incorporate the law of assumption into your own life. And last but not least, how you can learn more about this work. Join me on the Boundless Bond podcast, where non-duality meets manifesting.
I'm so excited to have this conversation with you because we've talked about this before, but I'm very into the whole idea of manifestation, and I know a fair amount about the law of attraction. I've done a lot of reading on it. I've of course read The Secret. Everyone has, right? Who hasn't? I've done the vision board thing and and the meditation thing and the journaling thing and all of the things.
All of the things. Things we do.
Yes. That we do to try to, create the life that we want. So I'm super excited because I've had these questions for you
I know.
for a while since we met
Yes.
about the differences. So that's kind of what I want to get into a little bit. Your work and is very much based on the writings and the teachings of Neville Goddard.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit more about who he was and what he taught, and how you kind of came upon his work and discovered him?
So Neville, I think he was born 1905, died, I think 1972, white man from Barbados.
Okay.
And came to New York and met a Ethiopian rabbi by the name of Abdullah, who taught him these teachings, mostly from the Kabbalah.
Okay.
They broke down the Bible in such a way that I couldn't ignore it when I came upon it. And I'll get to that in a minute. But it teaches that. So let me back up. When I say that I am God or you are God, it's not Tanya, it's not Marnie,
Right.
right? It's this sort of costume that God is experiencing himself in, right? So
Yeah.
all is within.
Yeah.
The law of attraction would have you to believe that things are outside of you that you need to attract to you.
Yep.
And you have to do all these things, all these techniques, all these methods to get what you want,
Yes.
right? But knowing that if you can just assume the identity of the person who now is, does, have, whatever, fill in the blank, you are that person
Okay.
already. It's just that simple.
It's that simple.
It's that simple.
It's that simple. I think one thing that I hear a lot about and is talked about when it relates to the law of attraction work and manifesting is that manifesting, and that work tells you to, focus on the things you want, that what is going on in your head is what your life becomes, sort of, right? What your thoughts create your reality. And I think a lot of times when people are doing law of attraction work and they're spending time imagining this life that they want, what they're often focusing on is that they don't have it. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? And I'm assuming, based on what you've already told me, that with law of assumption, and when you're already assuming that you have it, that sort of feeling where you're coming from a place of lack versus abundance, right? Because you're focusing on, say, I want to manifest, more money in my life. If I'm constantly focusing on money, but I'm coming from a lack mindset already, that's what I'm going to manifest more of. I guess what I'm asking is how you help people manifest from a place of abundance.
The first thing I did was get rid of the word lack, right? Because if you think about it, you are always in a state of abundance, perhaps not abundantly of what you want, right?
Right.
But if you feel you're poor, you're going to be experiencing a whole lot of poverty,
Right.
right? So there's always abundance. Where are you placing your focus? Where is your identity, right? So
I also don't believe in necessarily your thoughts create your reality. Like, how often do you think about I'm a woman?
I mean,
Probably not a whole lot,
no, no, I don't.
right?
No, not
Maybe
really.
once a month, right?
I was going to say,
Right?
it's exactly what I was going to say.
Right. It may cross your mind that you're a woman,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
just something that you know,
Yeah.
right? So I think what you're asking is, how do you get from hoping to wishing to believing to that knowing?
That's exactly what I'm asking.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So imagine you buy a new pair of shoes,
Okay.
right? And they're probably not very comfortable at first.
Right.
How do you wear them in?
You wear them.
Repeatedly,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the person that you feel that you want to be, which parenthetically you already are, okay? You return to that feeling.
Okay.
You return, what if you have an imaginal act, an inner conversation, whatever your imagination, which is your inner world, right? Whatever calls to you. Some people are visual, some people are audio, tactile, whatever it is, right? Or some people just say, listen, I'm this,
Right.
okay? But you return to that knowing
Okay.
until it becomes natural, until they are worn in like a pair of shoes.
I like the worn in like a pair of shoes.
Mm-hmm.
How important, because one of the things that you hear a lot in the manifesting world
Mm-hmm.
is the importance of gaining of having clarity.
Mm-hmm.
How important is that with law of assumption?
That's one of the fundamentals that Neville talks about, is clarity of your vision.
Yeah.
What is it that you would like to experience? Who is it that you want to be?
And get real specific about it.
Yeah,
Like, what do you wear? What do you like,
exactly.
get real specific
As
about
specific
it.
as you want. You know, it could be something general.
Okay.
It could be general. It could be specific. But have that definition of your aim.
Okay.
You know, maybe a life of wealth could very well be in something very different to me than it does to you.
Yeah.
You know, marriage,
Right.
anything
Right.
could be very different.
Right.
But what it means to you, get clear on that
Okay.
so that you are experiencing what it is that you have imagined.
How do you guide clients in getting that clarity?
First, I tell people to give themselves grace, right? Because what comes up a lot is when you learn about these teachings, you start to get in sort of this, oh, I caused all these things in my life.
Yeah.
Listen, what you don't know, right? Leave yesterday alone. Let the dead bury the dead. You know, as the Bible says, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Consider this day to be the first day of the rest of your life, right?
Day one.
Choose ye this day. Okay. Then I'd maybe go through with them, like, what do you feel like you're missing? What do you feel is missing? Because nothing really is missing, right? But what are you not experiencing that you would like to experience?
Yeah.
And it could just be feeling loved beyond measure,
Yeah.
feeling chosen,
Yeah.
feeling wanted.
Yeah.
How would that make you feel? And the question always comes up, well, I've never been in a relationship. I've never had money. But surely you would know how that would make you feel.
Right.
So that's where I help clients. It's the feeling. Feel
Yeah.
more, think less.
Yeah. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're talking about getting into how would it feel, you know, to have the wish fulfilled already.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a somatic element to this?
Oh, I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe our body always responds
Yeah.
in some way,
Yeah.
right? I prefer to listen to my body than to my head
Mm-hmm.
because the mind can be a cesspool,
Yeah.
right? And you'll often hear me quoting the Bible a lot. You know, Neville did, and, you know, it's the text that I kind of grew up on. But the Bible even says, as a man thinketh in his heart, as is he. Mentions nothing about the mind.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
Because the mind is foolery.
Yeah.
And people get so wrapped up in their thoughts and then begin to identify with them. But if you were your thoughts, you would come and go just as your thoughts do. You'd be disappearing and reappearing in front of me like every 2 seconds, right? So clearly you're not your thoughts.
Right. I'd be all over the place.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So we
Yeah.
are not our thoughts.
Right.
You know, they arise and go away in consciousness.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So if you can learn to just observe the thoughts, you know, maybe hold on to the ones you want to keep, but just observe the thoughts. Don't intermingle. It's like when someone knocks on your door, you don't want to entertain. Thank you for stopping by.
Right. Right.
Peace out.
But put that boundary in place.
Yeah.
That sort of that boundary.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But there's no reason to fight your thoughts.
They just are what they are.
They just are what they are.
They're just thoughts.
Without meaning, they mean nothing. We give the meaning to the thoughts.
Right. I like that. I like that a lot. That's really freeing. When I was, when we first met and I was starting to dig into Neville's work and learn about him some more, I read about how he taught that you can literally change your past.
Revision.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you talk about that a little bit?
I don't consider revision a technique because it is just so powerful.
Yeah.
Right. But I've seen the ripple effects of it. A lot of people tend to put revision towards something unfavorable that happened. Right. But you can make a good day the best.
Sure.
Whatever you want to do. Take a memory, maybe a period of your life, and reimagine it. Reimagine it.
How you would have wanted it to go down.
Exactly.
Right.
And that is your truth. Because again, where's the proof?
Right. And I've, having gone through therapy, traditional therapy in my life for, various things that we all have, I have done a decent amount of, and read into a decent amount of inner child work. This feels very similar.
Okay.
In that one of the things that's talked about around inner child work is going back and sort of imagining yourself as a child and something that happened to you as a child, and then you're the one sort of comforting you in that moment.
Okay.
Right? As an adult, you're the one comforting you in that, your inner child in that moment.
Okay.
This sort of feels similar to me in that way. That I think just speaks to the fact that sort of religion and neuroscience and spirituality and the sort of intersection of all of it, right? And I don't know that there's a question there for you that I have, but I just thought that's just kind of something that made me think of, that I related to in learning about his teachings around revision.
I think, yes, I definitely see how one could make that connection. The difference, though, is that with the inner child work, you're sort of cleaning up this state.
Yeah.
The point of the law of assumption is to move yourself into another state.
Yeah. And I think that can be more powerful.
Yes.
And I think that can help people get over trauma probably better than inner child work, because they're not reliving the trauma. Because I think there's a lot of that in therapy now. And, it is, I'm not saying it's a bad thing that we all recognize trauma and we all know that we all have it and that there's not a, stigma around talking about it and whatnot. But I do think there is something to be said about ruminating on it too much.
Neville will call that reinfecting yourself.
Great term. I do feel like you can easily get into that where you're not actually healing at all because you're doing too much of that.
Leave that person alone.
Yeah.
Neville will call that the old man. Let the old man die. I love where, I can't remember where in the Bible it was, somewhere in the gospel, where Jesus says they will look for me, but they can't find me because they're looking for the living among the dead.
Yeah.
The dead is the past.
Yeah.
Even this reality, because really it's an echo of your past assumptions.
Right.
In here is where the life is.
This feels very empowering. Where other, therapeutic practices, spiritual practices have felt kind of less empowering. Was there like a certain moment in your life? Was there an instance where it just became very clear to you that this is very real and very powerful?
It was probably actually around almost 5 years ago, right? The tail end of 2020. We all know that was a horrible year for many. The early part of the year, my father died, and then, we were all sequestered and isolated. And at the time, I was doing a Bible study group on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of the admins. And some young lady, and I probably talked about this before, asked a question about like new age thinking, more like law of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember the question, Marnie, but I was like, you know what, let me get back to you on that. And I never did. Because the rabbit hole just brought me to Neville.
Yeah.
And when I saw the cross-sectionality between the Bible and how he broke that down and, you know, the spirituality of it and creating the life, I was like, this speaks to me,
Yeah.
you know, because of how I grew up,
Yeah.
right? And how I lived my adult life. And I was like, this speaks to me. It's not that, and people question me all the time, like, am I an atheist? Am I this? Am I that? My trainer, Mike Middleton, I love him to death. He came up to me one day we were training. He's like, I think you're Hindu. And I'm like, I can be all things, you know, whatever it is that you want. But it's more empowering to me that knowing that God is within me.
Yeah.
As opposed to, you know, up in the sky
Right.
somewhere, like pointing upwards. What does that mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's so much more empowering to me that knowing that God is living through me.
Yeah.
You know, I joke all the time. People talk about, well, what about people who are doing this or doing that? I'm like, have you ever met a crackhead who has failed at their job? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they do it and they do it well.
Right.
You know what I mean? So for whatever reason, God wants to be a drug addict through that person, I don't know, not my business.
Right.
Not my monkey, not my circus,
Right.
right? But knowing that God is having this experience through me, it lessens the pressure of being this perfect person, doing things within God's will. What is outside of God's will?
Right.
Where
Right.
is that zip code where things lie beyond God?
Right. There's a lot of people that, you know, may have grown up in a very kind of traditional religious household that have explored spiritual teachings outside of what they grew up with, and may struggle with spiritual teachings in, but I don't feel that way. Like I feel like there very much is an intersection of religion and spirituality, of religions and spirituality. How do you talk to people about that, or how would you talk to people about that?
Well, the Bible says, study and show thyself approved, right? So I love to read.
Same.
I love to read. I've read the Bible a million times and I continue to read the Bible. I also love reading other religious texts,
Yeah.
right? Because you can't say you don't like something if you've never experienced it. Right. So I'm not going to say I don't like Muslims and never read the Quran. You
Right.
know what I mean? Don't like Hindus and never read any of their teaching.
Right.
Right. So I am currently reading religious texts because I believe that all religions point towards the same truth. Right. But particularly for my Christian folks, because that's, my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I can give them tons of examples where God is telling you to live the life that you want to live and he's doing it through you.
Yeah.
So you don't have to, I'm not telling people to walk away from their traditions.
Right.
Absolutely not. I got something for you, right? I got a lot for you, right? If you want to hold on to that God outside of you.
Yeah.
I can use the Bible and break that down for you.
I love that.
Because we are to live life and live it abundantly, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So I can definitely talk to those
That is
people.
biblical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I
Yeah.
can speak what's in the room, Marnie.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. All right. I got some other good questions here for you.
Yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Barbara Walters.
This is fun.
Okay.
I've been looking forward to this.
I know.
Can you share an example of what it looks like practically to live in the state of, or as the wish has been fulfilled? Give me like a practical application of that.
Okay. Maybe to the person who's new to this, right?
Yeah.
Because we kind of want to do techniques.
Yeah.
And I get that.
Right.
And I spoke a little bit about it in our first interview, but I will go more about that. And
Yeah.
Neville, have you been reading Neville?
Not yet, but
Okay, that's
I've been reading about Neville. I haven't been reading Neville yet, but I
Okay.
will.
I'll probably send you a book.
Yeah.
So Neville talks quite a bit about what we now called SATs, which is the state akin to sleep.
Yep.
And really, it's a meditative state, right? But naturally, we fall into that state twice a day.
Yep.
Well, as often as you sleep, right? As you're falling asleep and waking up,
Yep.
also known as the hypnagogic state,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that is a very powerful time because once you are asleep, your subconscious takes over,
Right.
right? That's what keeps all your bodily functions functioning and
Yep.
all the things, right?
Yep.
That keeps your body going.
Yep.
So your subconscious is always working. The imagination is always working. Again, the Bible, God never sleeps or slumbers, right? So your mind is always, always working.
Yep.
So if you can take, let's say, I know this is not what you want, Martin, I'm just throwing it out there,
No,
right? Let's say you and Pete want like the biggest mansion in Buckhead.
all right.
Right?
I mean, who says we don't want that?
Okay, yeah, okay. I mean, I love this house, but don't turn me around here, girl. No, but let's say that's your desire.
Yeah.
Right? So you go to sleep every night, maybe imagining you and Pete in this grand bedroom,
Yeah.
right? Or in the garden, just something in the house.
Yeah.
Implies that you already live there and you own it.
Yeah.
And you fall asleep to that. It could take one night or one nap, whatever, or one meditative session, however long it takes you, right? But you will wake up just knowing that it is done.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
You could get a foreclosure sign on this house and you'd be like, you know what? We're going to the house in Buckhead because you know that it's yours, right? So that's a very powerful technique. For anybody who's into techniques, it's probably the only one I would and do teach,
Okay.
right? Because I do believe in the power of sleep.
Yeah.
Um,
And there's science behind that, right?
Yes,
it is
absolutely.
it is a like a brainwave thing,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even from my science folks, we can sit here and talk about quantum physics.
Right.
Right. That's a whole thing.
Right.
Mind blowing. It very much ties into this.
Yes.
Does something exist if you do not observe it?
Right.
Like we have no proof that there's anything outside this room right now.
I know.
Right? Isn't that scary?
It's very scary.
We could be the only two people on the planet right now.
I know.
We don't know. We assume.
Right.
We hope Pete's still here.
I mean, you still there, honey? For someone who is listening or watching us today, who's just kind of beginning to explore this path, just stumbled upon this, hasn't heard of this before, what would you suggest how they start to dig in? Is it reading Neville? I know you have a program. Like I do want to talk about that. Like what would you say would be a good starting point for them?
I always recommend reading, right? I'm not going to disparage anybody out there because now I'm out there, right? But a lot of people come to this because they saw something on TikTok, a little something here on Instagram, Reddit, or whatever. Again, study and show thyself approved, right? The material, it may not be easy, right? Neville was born, like I said, in Barbados, English colony, spoke, the King's English.
Yeah.
But it's meant to be studied and not read.
Got it.
Right? And of course, questions will arise, but I would tell anybody to read it first.
Read first.
Read first.
Okay.
Read first and apply the teachings. Be a doer, not a hearer of the word, right? Because we get caught up in wanting to, like overconsumption of content.
Yeah.
Right? And there's, including myself, a million coaches out there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But when you know the law, when you know anything, right? Beyond a shadow of a doubt, then you can have a conversation with someone and not be moved around like a pawn on a chessboard.
Right.
But if you don't know, then any little thing that you get is going to confuse you.
Right. Right.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So with your program, when would you say someone is like, who's the ideal person that, when would they know that they're ready to step into something like this?
That's a really deep question. That's a really deep question. Because I quote, I don't know who said it, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
When the student is really ready, the teacher disappears. Who is my ideal person? I think someone, I probably said this before, someone who's maybe tired of the life that they're living, but they haven't given up hope yet. Right? Because as a therapist, I've met many people who had given up hope.
Right.
And that's not pretty.
Right.
Right? Someone who is open and coachable.
Yeah.
You always have to be coachable and teachable. I'm still getting coached. I'm still getting poured into.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you have to be willing to be flexible. This law can stretch you. or
Yeah.
just thinking differently can stretch you.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Because even in our misery, we get comfortable.
Yep.
Right. We get comfortable with who we've been. It's familiar.
Yeah. I mean, the body will always choose a familiar pain versus an unfamiliar.
Now you sound like my coach.
Yeah.
When he's yelling at me to do something. I'm like,
Right.
well, this feels better. It's less painful, but it's a pain I know.
Right.
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 So absolutely.
Yeah.
You asked about the practicality, right?
Yeah.
Of living. So I mentioned SATs, right? Once you have accepted something, the truth,
Yeah.
then Neville describes what is called a bridge of incidents,
Okay.
right? And I would say 99% of the time, you will only know that after the wish is fulfilled. You'll look back and be like, oh, right? A series of events will occur that will lead you to that desired end.
Mm-hmm.
And more often than not, you don't know you're on it.
Yeah.
You could have possibly had some wish to meet someone who knew some kind of different spiritual teaching.
Right. Right.
And we found each other very
Yeah.
easily,
yeah. Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Nothing that you did. I sought you out.
Right.
So that was your bridge of incidents to
Yeah.
meet me and
Yeah.
whoever else I may introduce into your life,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
So, but how you live your life, right? Yeah, you may have memories and you may have the occasional, oh, I wish I had that thing. That's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Let that not be your dominant state though, right? How would the person that you desire to be, how would that person be thinking?
Mm.
How would you see the world?
Mm.
It could be something small.
Right.
Like if you're grocery shopping, it's probably a little different than when you were single,
Right.
right? Maybe you're
Totally.
grabbing something that Pete
Right.
likes
Right.
that maybe you wouldn't have before,
Right.
right? But now it's just automatic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you could imagine yourself doing that.
Right. Right.
Maybe
Yeah.
your electric bill's a tad bit higher because there's somebody else living with you. You know what I mean? Or, whatever it is.
Right.
Right.
Right. If you want to, you want more money in your life, imagine yourself opening up your bank account and being happy about the number that you see there, right? That type of,
Yes.
yeah.
Something
Yeah.
very natural.
Yeah.
Hell, you may even have like a wealth advisory team
Yeah.
when you're at a meeting with them.
Yeah. Yeah. It can, that simple.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you want to live in your imagination all day, that's fine. But just carry on.
Right.
Do all the things you've been doing.
Right.
But just know you are this person.
It is very difficult if you're in a situation where, you are feeling stuck or, you're in a job you hate, whatever it is, law of attraction, teaches you, or traditional manifesting techniques teach you to, just focus on, the life that you that you want instead. So you're miserable in your job, you're hating your life, and you're supposed to wake up in the morning and I'm just so happy because my life is great. So the teaching there is to, start to kind of find joy and find abundance in little things, right?
Poppycock. Poppycock.
Talk to me about that. I like this.
So yeah, the hyper focus on emotions to me is so unnatural.
I agree.
Because
I completely agree.
any and every state is going to present you with a myriad of emotions.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know any parent, any spouse out there who every single day of parenthood and marriage is happy and go lucky.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you go through things with your kids, with your spouse, with your job, right? There's many times in my 20 years that I questioned why I became a social worker.
Mm-hmm.
Never took me out of the state of being a social worker.
Right.
Right? So it's just the knowing of who you are. You don't have to be happy all the time.
I like that. You don't have to be we don't have to be ruled by our emotions.
Emotions have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Right? Now, let's say the house in Buckhead. Of course, thinking about that at first is going to, give you all the feels.
Right.
Right? But 10 years down the line, you're living in the house, you're probably like, why'd I buy such a big house? Like, who's going to
Cost a
clean all
fortune
this?
to run this house.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, those
Yeah.
are the natural. I told you last week I had to replace, or 2 weeks ago, replace my windshield.
Right.
And my brakes. Like,
Right.
I wasn't a happy camper.
Right.
But I still own my car.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So it's not
Yes.
about feeling happy. And yes, you can and should feel grateful, but that's not the constant gas that runs that car.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just knowing that it's yours.
And that feels so much more natural. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, all that high vibration stuff, let it go.
You
Let
heard
it
her.
go.
You heard her.
Yeah.
I love that. There is something not very realistic to that I've kind of always intuitively felt, much as I've tried to follow it, right? There's something very unnatural about it where I don't see that with this. Right.
Serious, like
Right.
money. What is the vibration of money?
Right.
It's a piece of paper.
It's a piece of paper.
And technically it's just a means to an end, right? If I gifted you that house in Buckhead, you would take that, right? Over working your ass off for all that money that you would take to buy it,
Yeah.
right? So it's not the money we want. If we talk about money, it's what we feel that it will give us.
Right.
That's where you go with it.
I love that. It's not the money. It's what you get from it. It's the
Yes.
freedom. It's the, it's the life that it gives us.
Some
Right.
old demented person could walk past your house and be like, I have no daughter. I'm going to will you my house in Buckhead. Would you not take it?
100%.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's not, that's why and Neville says, and I stress to people, go to the end.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the how, the when, the why. That is not your concern. Leave that to God. Leave that to the higher power.
Go where it's done.
Yes, let him work that out.
Yeah. Tell us about the program.
The program, it's my signature program right now. I'll probably add more stuff later, but it's a 3-month, 12-week immersive program, right?
Okay.
And it's designed because this journey, any journey, is really a journey of self.
Yeah.
And it's a journey of love,
Yeah.
right? Because God is love.
Yes.
And if I can, because you asked me
course you
something
can.
before. You asked me something before.
Yeah.
And I want to share an experience that I had
Please.
with a certain psychedelic. Mom, don't kill me. My mom's a retired nurse.
All right. We're talking psychedelics now.
Yeah. My mom is probably going to have a stroke. But Mom, I'm still alive.
She's
Okay.
all good, Mom.
Yeah, I'm all good. So almost 3 years ago, around my birthday, the early part of 2023, I did a solo retreat.
Okay.
And I had the experience with a psychedelic called Bufo.
I haven't heard about this.
Mm.
And I know my psychedelics. I'm surprised I haven't heard about this
It
one.
is the strongest
Okay.
psychedelic known to man. It's also called the God molecule.
Oh, I have heard that. Yes. Okay. I have
Yes.
heard of that. Yes.
So in its natural form, it's taken from the toad, a venom of a toad.
Yes. I have heard of this.
Yes.
I just didn't know what it was called. I'm
yes.
sorry.
So it kind of looks like fish flakes.
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And if you inhale enough of it, you have this breakthrough dose, which results in the dissolution, the death of the ego.
Okay.
Marnie, when I tell you, and there's a reason why I'm telling you this, that definitely put a line of demarcation in my life,
Yeah.
right? Because taking that breakthrough dose, you experience just being pure consciousness,
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
awareness, whatever you want to call it. I call it God,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And what this experience was you've heard about the proverbial white light with the near-death stuff, right?
Yep.
There is no shade of white that compares to, I call it a violent shade of white.
Yeah.
Like imagine the brightest floodlights in the biggest stadium looks like a dimming candle,
Yeah.
right? And I became that light,
Wow.
right? So even to say I sounds weird because Tanya disappeared,
Right.
right? There was no Tanya.
Right.
There was no thinking. It was very strange, right? Like there was nothing but feeling,
Yeah.
right? In this white light that I was, all there was to feel was love.
Yeah.
And the feeling in this light was that it was everything and nothing at the same time,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And what it also felt like was, at first I felt like I was dying. I was like, my mom is going to flip. Right. Even though I wasn't thinking that, I couldn't
She's going to be
think.
so mad.
Yeah. I couldn't think, but I was like, okay, I've gone and done it now, but whatever. But it felt like 100 years
Yeah.
and 2 seconds at the same time. It's like words, just
You
can't describe
it.
right? But what I realize is that without the ego, without the stories, nothing exists.
Yeah. Right.
Nothing exists.
Right.
Everything that we experience
Is ego driven.
is ego driven, and our assumptions being projected onto this screen of space.
Yeah.
Right? And I also realized this is why God did that. Because if you are everything, how do you experience yourself? Right? Every experience needs two things, a subject and an object.
Right.
But if you are both,
Right.
what are you experiencing?
What are you experiencing? Wow. That's deep.
Isn't it?
That's real
So
deep.
I say that to say that this journey, no matter, I don't care what your desires are, because all desires come from God. God wants to experience whatever you feel has come upon your heart. God wants to experience that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
God wants to experience that.
Yeah.
So it is Tanya's duty to experience whatever flutters my little heart.
Right.
Okay? But it's all a journey back to self, which is love. Because that is who we truly are.
The way you just described that psychedelic experience sounds so similar to how I have heard people describe near-death experiences that they've had.
Mm-hmm.
So similar, creepily similar.
Mm-hmm. It was a beautiful experience.
Yeah.
Not sure I would do it again, just because I don't think I need to.
Right. Jeremy Renner. Do you know who he is, the actor?
Yes.
He was in that horrific accident.
Yes.
He was dead.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it was the most beautiful experience ever. And he talked about the white light, like it sounds just like it.
Mm-hmm. I've heard people have horrible experiences, and I imagine those are people who just can't let go of the ego.
Yeah.
Right? But I'd been in this sort of space for a while, so I didn't have that fear.
Yeah.
And the person who gave it to me said I was smiling like Buddha.
Right.
But it really was a beautiful experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can't see life and people the same way.
Right. Forever changed.
I have forgiven a lot of things and a lot of people since then without them even knowing.
I can imagine.
Right? Because the shitty way you probably treated me was the way I was treating myself.
Right.
So I don't hold you accountable. Yeah. But it was part of the path.
That reminds me, when you said the shitty way you treated me was the way I was treating myself. So much power there. I truly do believe that people treat you the way that you teach them to.
Absolutely. Just had a conversation with one of my oldest friends in the world about that. My job is to teach you how to respect me.
Yeah. 100%.
That's it. And I'm going to do it once.
I love that.
Non-negotiable.
Yep.
Just went through this with my coach. We just talked about this week. What are my non-negotiables? So I don't experience anything less than that.
Very powerful.
We're all powerful.
I love it. So powerful. We're so much more powerful than we realize. And this work that you teach helps people realize that.
Yes. So for right now,
amazing.
It's a 3-month program. I probably will add some other things.
Yeah.
But this is very important to me because knowing who you truly are, and again, not talking about Tanya or Marnie.
Right.
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 Just this little Trojan horse running around doing God's work.
Right.
But knowing that
Yeah.
is very powerful. The biggest form of control is learning to give it up.
Love that.
That's what I'm here for.
I love it. I also love you said before, I remember you said this, and I think about it often. We live the life we expect, not the one we want.
Yes. Yes.
I think about that so much.
It raises the standards.
Yeah. Well, thank you for letting me join you for your first episode.
You're welcome, Marnie. Anytime.
I'm so glad I met you, and I am so glad you're doing this podcast and this work. I think it's amazing, and I'm excited to see what you do with this podcast and with your program and watch you change lives.
Well, let me shout out Scutch Media. Okay. For anybody not just in the Atlanta area, Marnie and Pete are awesome. I love them. If you are lazy like I am, please have them do all your post product, everything. They do everything. They'll come feed you, make your bed, wipe your ass, do everything.
All of it.
all
it's
of
part
it.
of the service.
Yeah, it's all part of the service. all there. So
love it.
I love
Thank
you
you.
guys. Thank you so much.
We love you too.
Okay.
All right. Yay.
Thank you so much for tuning in today to Boundless Bonds. If you liked what we discussed today and would like to learn more about my program, there's a link in the show notes that will take you to more information. And please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. And remember, you are love.